Another aspect of publishing is the research actually correct? Can it be replicated? And is it actually out there and findable easily? So a lot of concern happened a few years ago when, particularly in cancer research, a large number of articles could not be replicated. Is it just the way it was described in the article, or is it the way that it was not, that the cell line they were using was somehow contaminated, or what? And so there's that great concern. That's when the journal editors decided to put this fourth aspect in about the reproducibility. And so this whole idea of research integrity and reproducibility came in, and it's now filtered through into funding bodies, so they're now insisting for all sorts of things about reproducibility, because it's pointless on doing research if no one else can replicate it. And so all these various articles are interesting. And so what has been happening is that there's been much more emphasis on putting your data out there publicly, so it's out there. By putting it out there, it gives a good way, firstly, just to better analyze it, and secondly, to show you did the work. And so the results can be easier replicated. So we have something called Mendeley. We bought it because it happens to be a good reference management system. We liked it so much, then we give it away to the world. But we also have got something called Mendeley data, whereby if you have your data sets, you can actually then upload them either privately or publicly, and then just to keep them there. It's your responsibility as a researcher to look after your data. You can't rely on the university. University may have a data store, but at the same time, what happens in 10 years' time if someone says, we're not sure about this paper, if it was right or not, where's your data? And it's somewhere at the university and it's gone by now. So it's always good to make sure that you have your data also replicated up there somewhere in some public area in the cloud, or even a private area in the cloud. So the Mendeley data is a way. There's other systems out there too, but it's useful because you publish it publicly in Mendeley data, you get a DOI. In effect, you get an extra published article. It's findable, it's citable, and also it means that people might find your data and then contact you for some collaborative work in the future. And then when you have published it, you link that DOI of the data in Mendeley to the article and vice versa, which actually is useful. You can also have different versioning. So if you have an early version, you've got a later version and so on, it keeps all the various versionings there, the idea being that everything's there. So this is also your intellectual property rights. It shows that you were the first people to do research on this area. So it's a good thing to have. And of course it's out there and it's in the cloud and it's a free. That's how it gets linked up. And so in the past, particularly in certain fields, people didn't want to share their data because they thought it could be stolen and things could be done with it. This way, by having it very much versioned and actually up there with a DOI, that you can put your data out there knowing that it won't get, shall we say, misused. By putting it out there, you get the credit for the work that's been done. It gives you some citations. It can also get people to join with you to do collaborative works. It's also useful as a way to put that data that actually is negative research. Because so often people find things that doesn't achieve anything, so they can't publish it. Well, there's not many journals that want to publish negative data, negative research. It's difficult to know. It's time-consuming to write an article, so it's far better just to publish the data up there saying this didn't work. It saves people repeating that experiment worldwide with resources, time, money, perhaps lab animals and so on. So it's useful to actually make sure that these failed experiments are listed somewhere so they're findable by some sort of search engine. And of course, society as a whole has to regain its respect for scientists. And we need to do that by making sure that everything is really clear, visible, and there's no abuse and so on. So yeah, it's a quite powerful message which we haven't really thought about until the last couple of years, about the needs of transparency of your data you've done in such a way that it can be findable in the future.